Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we are going to be looking at the Nightmare Corridor. So overall guys, we're not seeing a ton of guides. So we have a guide that we're actually going to go through today. But overall for the Nightmare Corridor, like I said, we're not seeing a lot of guides that are being produced. I didn't know if Cursed Friends was actually going to come up with a guide, but it seems like they are just going to stick to the Cursed Realm at this point. So I'm going to show you the team that I ran through for the boss. And I love the bosses they're doing in here, guys. It is really, really cool to see the new bosses. Even looking here at the dashboard, guys, we are getting new bosses. We also see a secondary boss that is going to be coming pretty soon as they're concluding and going through the rotation of this. Now, I wish they would actually do something with this in regards to it being a guild aspect within the guild trials, things of that nature, that I think would be really cool to see if we had that aspect. Now, this team that I'm going to show you, I made a lot more progression in. So looking at our formation, these were not the best in slot formations. I went through here, guys. I don't have the heroes quite built out as much. So I'm going to run through here and show the teams that I am utilizing within here. I'm going to show you the guides because it does have some substitutions in there so you can see if you can score a little bit better. Now, overall, I was at about 16%, 17%. I switched up my formations, actually switched up the Awakened version of Thane to a different comp, and I went to the top 6, which I'm super happy about. Definitely wanted to share this with you guys. All right, so the first team had the Awakened version of Athalia with also the Seal. Now, the Seal, of course, is almost his entire party by himself, does an incredible amount of damage. We have Halos in here, Anasa for the damage mitigation, Vathiel in here for the buffs. We have Moriel, of course, in here as well, which again, I know a lot of players don't have Moriel built, but then we have the Awakened version of Athalia, which is going to provide the SP effect. This formation does work incredibly well. Overall, I think more having the 5-0 when it comes to the faction advantage in here does make a big difference. But again, Athalia, the Awakened version of Athalia, can put out an incredible amount of damage. Second team, very standard, guys. So we have Rem in here and we have Scarlet. Then we have 3 buffers right in the back. We also do have Blade Ridge in here. Now, of course, this is going to allow for an incredible amount of damage for Rem. A lot of players also do run the Awakened version of Baden in here. Actually, putting Rem in here gave me a lot more damage than the SP effect of running that Awakened version of Baden. I went through and again tried it out a couple different times. The first time I had Baden in here, they said to sub in Rem. I did. Rem did more damage in this team. Now, this one is Orin and Olgath. Again, a lot of players do not have Olgath. Now, when it comes to this build, guys, Orin you have to have built. He is super, super important. Then, of course, Lorzen is going to provide the linking. We have the defensive reduction back here from Warwick. And then we also do have the Awakened version of Solus, which gives us, of course, her SP effect, which is huge in here, guys. Now, the next thing we look at, this was the team that if you have Orthos, so if you do not have Orthos built out, it is not going to work fundamentally. There's a different version in here with the Awakened version of Brutus. But essentially in this one, you have Mortis for a buffer, Tamorus for a buffer. You have Rowan in here as a buffer. Not only that is the energy, the stun, and also the energy potion in here. Matria is going to have the ability to actually move when Orthos ults. That is really the big caveat to this, guys. Now, we've seen the original version of Taylene was actually in this slot and has been in this slot an incredible amount of time. Now it has been subbed out with building the Awakened version of Matria. Now, this used to be my first slot versus the Dune Destroyer. This one swapped over here, guys. So this is kind of the invade comp. Of course, Screg is going to go on the side, giving us attack, damage reduction, and energy regeneration. Same with Thane, same with Saurus, same with Joan. And then, of course, Silas, by the ultimate ability that he has and actually buffing up this side, is going to go to the enemy side as well. So this entire team is going to be the enemy side. On the enemy side, we do have the Moth in here, which of course is going to go on the Awakened version of Thane, giving that SP effect. And you notice kind of a trend in here, guys. It is really the Awakened heroes, of course, unfortunately, but you'll also notice the SP effect in almost every single one of these fights. Kind of spreading out the SP effects to all of the different one does have a really big impact. And then, of course, guys, our main damage dealer, the Awakened version of Belinda. We do have Damia right there in the top. So when you look fundamentally again at this group, Palmer's in here for buffs, Damia's for buffs. We have Rosaline for buffs. We have Rain in here for energy and buffs. Everything built around this formation like we have seen within every other game mode. is really, really focused about just buffing up that awakened version of Belinda. And then, of course, we have the owl in here, which is going to provide a little bit of haste, but also that immunity factor in here. Now, with this game mode specifically, this is a spot to actually spend a couple diamonds. I'm going to drop 200 diamonds in here. See if on 11 attempts, we can get lower than this 3.68, which there's 3.4, guys. So didn't get lower to get a better rank, but we did get a 2 seconds faster on a kill, which again, there is kind of an RNG factor in here. That is why for a majority of players, they say run it 10, 20, 30 times. Is it worth the diamonds? If you score better, if it is a big improvement, it really is worth the diamond investment that you put in here. So if you put, again, like I just did right there, you put 200 diamonds in here, you get some extra runs. Once you have your team comp set and you're good with the damage, go ahead and spend some extra diamonds in here. It is well worth it. Again, if you're going up, and there we go. So 3.24, that takes us to 5%, guys, which of course can affect what we're getting out of here. If we actually get below that 5%, we'll actually be getting a furniture scroll versus just getting some Poke coins out of here, which is the reason why I stress this in both the Nightmare Corridor and within the Cursed Realm, why it is beneficial to actually score a little bit better. And you can see, guys, we are literally 0.01 second from getting a little bit better. RNG factor, guys, it is really leveled out as you're doing more attempts in here. It can eliminate, again, some of that RNG that we do see within these team comps. But looking overall at the damage, guys, doing some pretty decent damage. There's 5 billion there, 7 billion, 4 and 2, 7 billion right there, 4 billion, and then 7 billion in there as well. So again, we're doing pretty well. And look at that, we are spot on. Kill bosses within 48, 48. 32, guys, the final one gave us a new record just like that, which is awesome. So even though we didn't go to the 5%, we got a little bit better overall with our attempts, which I'm happy with. Let's hop over and check out the guide. Now, like we have seen in the past, guys, this is a guide from the Chinese server. I believe this is translated over to Russian, so that's what we're seeing right here in AFK Inside. If you follow them, guys, all of the guides and everything are in Russian, but you can see the setups right here. So the first team that I was using is this one right here with the Slumbering Seal, the Awakened version of Athalia, and you can see, guys, there are subs in here, which is the reason why I wanted to show the guide. So if you don't have Athalia, Rem can be put in there. If you don't have Rem, Lucretia can be put in there. Even if you don't have a Theo, guys, you can put Anasta in there. And then if you don't have the seal at 15, then the sub within this one is, of course, Talisman at 9 right there, which I could have subbed in and seen exactly where we went. But again, I like that they show the subs in here. Most of the other heroes you should and could kind of have built. Again, Muriel, I think a lot of players are probably going to ask for a sub for her. Unfortunately, there's not much within here. You could go in with, I'm kind of thinking a couple different heroes, but let me know in the comments what you guys think the replacement for Muriel would be. Now, the second team, this was the same one, guys. We had Scarlet and we had Rem in here. If you do not have Rem, the Awakened version of Baden. If you don't have that, you can go ahead and drop Grez in here. Then we have Hodgkin, we have Estrilda, and we have the twins in this formation, of course, with Blade Ridge. Looking at our third boss, like I said, guys, Orin is the priority in here. Now, Olgath, if you do not have him built, you can see we have Druz in here. We have Entendre in here if you do not use Entendre for that first formation. Then we have Lorzen, we have Solus, and we have Warwick in here with our Winged Lion. Now, this is the formation that is built around Orthos, guys. Orthos, and then, of course, Matria. If you do not have Matria, Kren is a very solid substitute. If you do not have Orthos, that is this second build right here, guys. It is actually fundamentally changing the formation. If you do not have Orthos, we have the Awakened version of Brutus, Entendre again in there, and then the rest of this stays the same with Kren. So you're dropping out Matria and you're dropping out Orthos in that formation, which again, you'll notice that Entendre is used a lot, guys. There are a lot of formations that she is still being used and a lot of sub formations that we're seeing. Next one, of course, is the Awakened version of Thane. This is the Invade team. You can see right down here with the Moth. If you do have the Belbella, that is better at level 15. If not, it is going into the Moth. And then for the final boss, guys, there are two different formations. If you have Demia, or if you don't, that is kind of the big thing right here. And if you have the Awakened version of Belinda, or if you do not, If you do not, then it is going in there with the damage from Rem with Honesta right down here. But the rest of this does stay fundamentally the same with the Owl ran into this formation. So guys, I wanted to share this because like I was saying earlier, we don't see a lot of these guides often for the Nightmare Corridor, so definitely wanted to show it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.